Welcome in, everybody, to episode 58 of the Dumb Marks podcast, the triple threat edition today. Donald's pulling a Brock Lesnar and is taking time away from the show for today. I didn't know when he inked that contract, but, you know, Jason ducks out last week. Donald ducks out this week. Fuck's going on around here? Jeez, oh, man.
Hey, you had to duck out early last week, too.
I had to duck out early to go get my car from the dealership, you know, since they're only open till 2 on Saturdays. Like, you know, close at 5 during the week, only open till 2 on Saturdays. It's a pain in the ass. Closed on Sundays. Yeah. So, like, yeah, that's the only reason why I had to get off early last week. I do have to get off early again today. My wife's car is getting her stuff done, so jump out early today. I tried a new setup for the pod this morning, switched some stuff around, hung the green screen in a different spot, and it is not working the way that I wanted it to. As you can see, the light is directly above me, and I've been playing with it, and it's just not going to work. So
should have grabbed a hat.
I apologize. The forehead is glistening, boy. Man.
Playing with it, it's not working. That sounds like a personal problem, too.
That's an After Dark episode. But I'm giving Tyra Banks a run for her money right now with the forehead. Whoo, man. Put myself on blast right now. Jesus.
I don't think you're going to get us to say anything really about it, so...
I look like Barry Bonds in the height of the steroid scans on right now. Jeez, oh man, like this is crazy. Wow. All right, well, rainy, crappy Saturday morning in the Berg. Still super warm out. Ridiculously warm. Like I can't believe, you know, October's halfway over and we've had 2 weeks of 80-degree weather straight. It's been crazy. Oh yeah, don't worry. Like, believe me, I don't want the snow and ice and sleet and everything else that comes with Pittsburgh. So yeah, but how's everybody's week? Everybody good? Ready to go this week? Ready to pod? Bring some interesting conversations to the table today.
Wasn't too busy of a week, really. Not a whole lot went on. Just typical work week. So,
Jay, are you drinking all those Kool-Aid jammers since your nephew ain't come over last night?
I am. The whole box.
And you brought the tropical. Those are the worst ones.
Nah. I can't do with cherry?
Cherry.
Nah.
Cherry.
Plain cherry's trash. In anything.
What? Plain cherry Kool-Aid is the number one Kool-Aid.
Nah, tropical punch, then grape.
No, cherry, grape, tropical punch.
Nah. Blue raspberry before cherry.
Now, cherry back in the day with the metal canister, whenever we were like 4 or 5 years old, there wasn't nothing beating that. Nothing beating that.
You enjoy it. I mean, I'll drink it. It's like terrible beer. I'll drink it.
Well, speaking of terrible beer, we'll get to that in your drink of the week this week because I got a feeling this is going to be trash.
Let's hope it's better than the fruit punch.
It better be better than the fruit punch, or Jason's not allowed to pick beer no more.
Hey, fruit punch was good.
Fruit punch in general was good. That fruit punch was not good.
It was not good at all.
The lemonade the lemonade was good.
Lemonade was good. I will give you that. The lemonade was good. I would drink the lemonade, especially like in the summertime at a cookout or whatever. Like, yeah, I'll grab the can of lemonade and drink that for sure. You know, as I blend in from Neo from the Matrix, going in and out, like waiting for Mr. Smith to come down the steps.
You want the red or the blue pill?
Yeah, like give me both at this point. Yeah, so not that big of a week. Like I said, October is halfway over. Halloween's right around the corner. Then we got Thanksgiving, my favorite holiday of the year, and then obviously Christmas and the New Year to wrap it up. So coming down the home stretch of 2021, very interesting last 2 years, so to speak, given everything that's gone on. But some normalcy back in our lives. So with all that being said, intro topic wise, what do we got? What do we want to go over? I did see briefly for me for TV and movie purposes, The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. There was a big uproar last year because they pulled it. They did end up putting it on PBS, but this one was missed because of the uproar. It was the first one that was exclusively to Apple last year. So this year they're doing The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. It'll air next Sunday, the 24th on PBS. So no backlash as far as that goes. Those are still staples in my household around the holiday time. You know, my daughter is going to be 12, and we still sit down and watch that stuff. So as the kids grow older, you know, they get less and less into that. But luckily for me, she's still hanging on and wants to sit down and watch them. So we'll tune into that for as long as possible. My son can care less. He's moved on from that type of stuff.
When they used to be on ABC, that was just like, because I would always have it on you think it was usually Wednesday nights that they would put them on. Just like I usually had ABC on for sitcoms anyway, so just kept it on. Just watch it. It's a good show. Yeah,
and then this past Monday, since we are in the Halloween season, I saw this and couldn't believe this, but Ernest Scared Stupid was released October 11th, 1991. So 30 years for Ernest Scared Stupid. I think Ernest Goes to Jail might be my favorite one. But yeah, those movies were like so stupid they were good.
Yeah.
Growing up, like, you know, if I watch them now, I'm sure they'll be like extra trash, but like they were something that was, you know, that we tuned into growing up. They gave me some entertainment for a couple hours.
I remember whenever he had the sitcom show too, just off of Ernest, and that's how I remember first, and then the movies were just, again, they're probably so stupid now, but they were entertaining as a kid.
They were. Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Scared Stupid, you know, Ernest Goes to Jail. They were like the Mr. Bean movies. Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? That's exactly what I would equate them to. You know, like you get some good pops. Ernest Saves Christmas was another one that was classic, but yeah, 30 years for that. I did watch Black Widow since it came on Disney Plus. Me and my daughter watched that last Saturday. Really enjoyed it. Really good. Like the post-credit scene for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
the post-credit scene was good.
Yeah, that was good. Setting up Hawkeye. So we'll see more of Elena in that, and you know, maybe eventually leading to the West Coast Avengers. Who knows? So yeah. But that's all I had TV wise. I still got to get caught up. I didn't watch the new CSI Vegas. I got those episodes recorded. Got to watch them. As far as new sitcoms that I was interested in seeing, that were back from the dead, so to speak. So, anybody got anything else TV movie wise?
Kind of TV movie wise today is starting at 1 p.m. Eastern is DC Fandom. They're doing that again. The last I had checked, which was yesterday, there wasn't a schedule released. They're just saying it's not going to be broken down by anything. It's just going to be like one big video stream for a couple hours, and they have their own schedule planned for it. I saw last night while watching AEW, I saw like a little trailer like that they had announcing for it today, and they were showing something from the new Batman movie, and he still has the Batman voice.
Yo, the Batman voice based off of the new trailer that they teased that they're going to release today was all very positive reaction from the fans that I saw. So nobody shit on it.
I'll see what the trailer looks like today, but I wasn't happy with it last night. Hopefully
it's not too overdone. Like Christian Bale did it, but as like with the Dark Knight and with the second one. It kind of like toned down as he went along in those three movies. The first one, he just did it completely terrible. But yeah, I'll give it a chance is what I'll say. You know, he can't be any worse than Ben Affleck.
This is true.
And I don't know if
looking forward to is The Rock announced that he said it was like going to be like around like 10 a.m. Pacific time. So whatever time that equates to be, I don't know if that's like was that round one? Black Adam trailer is going to be released too, the teaser trailer. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that one looks like.
And then you're going to get the Peacemaker spinoff.
Yeah. I've seen a little bit of that they've teased already.
Mm-hmm.
That's on HBO. That's on HBO Max, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But usually
what that's like, but
they usually touch on everything DC. So if there's like video games involved, Legos, new toys, they try to touch on everything going through that whole timeline. It's just their schedule is so weird.
WWE shows too. That's all going to be part of it.
So like last year, I think you couldn't, like it would all stream live. And then once it all played, you can go back and watch whatever
parts you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how they broke it down this year. I'm on, but it gives you nothing but shop.
Yeah, I'm not going to tune in for it, but yeah, I'll definitely watch some trailers later on when they're released.
Yeah.
So something I'll talk about next week.
Yeah, for sure. Jay, I don't know if you had anything for shows wise, movies, TV. Do we want to talk about Chappelle's stand-up at all?
I still don't even know what I've heard of the issue, but I don't even know what he said. Because I didn't watch the thing.
You didn't watch it?
No.
Yeah.
All right. We'll table that. Go in and watch it because it'll be worth. I know by the time we talk about it, it'll be old news and probably halfway forgotten. Which that's the trouble with going once a week on a podcast because these topics hit the news cycle. 24 hours later, they've moved on to something else. But yeah, definitely go in and watch it, and then if we want to talk about it and break it down, we can talk about it and break it down because there's a lot of good stuff in there, so to speak. So yeah. All right. Anything else intro wise before we get into the new successful hit from the Dumb Marks, Smash or Trash?
Adele's new single just dropped.
Yes,
terrible.
Easy on me.
Terrible.
You didn't even listen to it. You're judging.
I did listen to it. No, I did listen to it. I listened to it.
This guy.
I was driving home yesterday after we dropped my wife's car off, and they debuted it at 6:00 on the radio on Kiss yesterday.
Did you say we or you were driving?
I was driving. My wife was in the front seat. My daughter was in the back seat. So the three of us were in the car.
Everybody enjoyed it.
We were driving. No, we turned it off. We didn't even finish it. We turned it off.
A whole house of hatred toward Adele.
No.
I don't see that. No.
We turned it off. My wife was like, "Is that Adele's new song?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "It's trash," and turned it off. And then I said, "I can't wait." I said, "I'll wait. I can't wait to get on the podcast tomorrow and talk about how trash that song was." After they hyped her up, and that led us back into the Beyonce Adele, and my daughter chimed in and said that my wife was wrong and that Adele needed to go and Beyonce needed to stay. So, yeah, I did. Listen, I went into it with open ears, open eyes, open heart, open mind. It was still trash. Turned it off.
I call bullshit on that, but
turned it off. There was no pre-bias going into the release of Adele's new song. Okay, it was not. I did not like it
last week. Who was releasing a new song?
I didn't like it, but it did not win me over to make me want to go back in and listen to her catalog. So, yeah, there's that.
You're missing out.
Not missing out on anything.
We'll see how this song plays into the rest of the album, which is coming out in November, because usually, it just they all tell a story together. So sometimes it's not. Yeah, they're all standalone songs, but sometimes listening to the whole thing, you get the whole reaction for what she was really going through in that album.
Oh, we'll
see.
Yeah.
Well, the release of the single was like an episode of Monday Night Raw, so it doesn't look good for the rest of the album. But yeah, so there's that. Anything else?
Not that I can
nope. All right, well then let's get into Smash or Trash.
All right.
Now, Jay, this is your first edition of Smash or Trash.
Second.
No. Yeah.
He did the first one.
Oh yeah, that's right. This is our third week. I'm thinking it's only the second week for it. Yeah. All right. So quick hitters, round robin. You know the drill. Fast pace, high tempo, fast break offense. Here we'll run around, smash or trash, and then let us know on social medias what snacks you would smash or trash.
All right, we'll start off the one that I'm sure you guys are most looking forward to. Little Debbie is coming out with Christmas tree cakes ice cream.
That was the sexiest picture I've seen in a long time as a chubby kid. I'm smashing that continuously through the Christmas season.
As I said, Deborah McKee Fowler.
Full name.
You're doing your thing.
Full
The
government name.
mascot.
And this is going to be a Walmart exclusive. So,
now you gotta go to Walmart.
Yeah.
Oh. Jay,
that's the only.
I'll grab it. Me and Chris last year, when we sat down, this is whenever we were still meeting at Chris's house to do the pod, and Christmas trees just came out. I stopped at Dollar General to get a Starbucks, and I was in line and I saw a box of Christmas trees, and those were my favorite growing up. My grandma always had them. Like, it's just nostalgia feeling, but I also like the Christmas trees the best out of the Little Debbie snack line. So I grabbed the box to give to Chris, as a Christmas present type deal, early Christmas present. He's a chubby kid. I'm a chubby kid. So I go in the house and I'm like, here you go. Happy Merry Early Christmas. And he hands me a box right back. So we were on the same wavelength. We just had Christmas trees scattered all over the table.
As soon as you see them.
As soon as you see them.
Real quick, chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Chocolate. I mean, they're both good, but I smash the chocolates. Okay.
You know me, I like chocolate and just about everything, Jay. The vanilla Christmas trees.
Person.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We'll go into something adult next. Southern Tier Brewing is coming out with a frosted sugar cookie imperial ale for the holidays.
I wasn't sure if you were going to bring this up in the Drink of the Week segment or if you were going to do it now, but I'm going to smash this. I'm definitely going to look out for this and scoop up a 4 or 6 pack, however they package it, because sugar cookies are my favorite type of cookie around Christmas. My wife makes amazing sugar cookies. So, yeah, I'm going to smash this, and hopefully it's good.
I'm going to go smash and probably be let down, but
Southern Tier is good, so hopefully it's something for the holidays. We'll go into chips. Lay's brought back wavy carnitas street taco chips.
Smash.
Never had them the first time, but I would smash those.
Our friends in the UK are getting a Kit Kat chunky Cinnabon.
Smash.
I would smash that.
Yeah.
I would get a diabetes test afterwards, but I would smash it. Walking around, I got the sugar. My teeth hurt thinking about that.
Our friends in Japan are getting a Fanta White Peach.
Ooh, I would smash that. White peach is highly underrated. They used to have cranberry juice, cranberry ocean spray used to come out with a cranberry white peach that was phenomenal.
Yes.
I don't know if they still have it or not. But that was really good.
All right.
I'm gonna start ordering some of these overseas snacks.
Right. They have those boxes where you can get the stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Jason found a Target. Reese's White Ghost.
Trash.
Pass. Trash.
It's the white chocolate. Like you said yeah. I mean, I'm gonna smash the M&Ms, but they're still trash. White chocolate's trash.
This was interesting. I actually tried these this week not knowing about it until I looked it up. Wendy's is changing their fries. So it's going to be new hot and crispy fries. They're doing this thing with it that if your fries are not hot and crispy, they'll replace them.
Oh, that's every trip.
so there's supposed to be a new recipe. They kind of got rid of a lot of like the natural look to them. It looks a little bit more like the old style again.
So they don't have the thicker, almost like steak cut fries. They're going back to the smaller.
They're still
not McDonald's-esque, but
yeah. But yeah, the whole point is that it's supposed to be a new batter that's supposed to ensure that they're hot and crispy and last longer.
I hope it's not battered fries.
No, it tastes I think it tastes like their old fry.
Okay. I'm gonna go smash.
I'll go smash.
Okay. They weren't bad. Yeah. Whenever I tried them, I was just like, something's different about these fries, but I didn't notice it because they're still like the natural like potato skin on it. Pringles is coming out with a wavy melted pub cheese chip.
Smash.
Trash.
Jason, do you go?
Oh yeah, smash. Yeah.
Okay. DiGiorno is coming out with a mac and cheese pizza.
Trash.
Smash.
That's a lot of carbs. Red Vines.
Panera has a mac and cheese sandwich now.
Ew.
They took their mac and cheese, Panera Bread's mac and cheese, and they put it on a sandwich now, as a grilled mac and cheese sandwich. So it's grilled cheese with mac and cheese.
Maybe, but
yeah, no.
Profiting off the struggle.
But Panera's not even a struggle. That shit's expensive.
yeah.
It's the most expensive hospital food ever. Somebody said that. I forget who it was. So Panera's the most expensive hospital food ever.
I mean, growing up poor, you made a sandwich out of anything.
This is true.
Anything you can slap on bread.
Red Vines is coming out with candy corn flavor licorice.
Trash. Red Vines is trash to begin with. And now you want to throw in candy corn in the Red Vines? Absolutely not.
This isn't necessarily candy or like snacks, but King's Hawaiian Rolls is coming out with a pretzel bun. They're coming out with sliders and like hamburger buns.
Oh, smash. Anything King's Hawaiian does is a smash.
And pretzel, yeah.
Is that your last one?
No.
Okay. I don't want to go on a rant about King's Hawaiian roll.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Found in the frozen food section, Zapp's came out with a jalapeno pimento cheese stuffed jalapeno popper.
Trash.
Smash.
Yeah, I'd smash that. Little Debbie again is coming out with mini oatmeal cream cookie bites.
Trash.
Smash.
Same thing, but with mini Nutty Buddy cookie bites.
Smash those.
Smash.
Brock's Candy is coming out with a Funfetti candy cane.
Trash. Candy cane, stick to the originals. Okay.
Yeah.
Smash.
Something I'm actually looking forward to. Pepsi is coming out with a Nitro Pepsi. So you'll get a Pepsi Draft Cola and a Pepsi Vanilla Draft Cola, both Nitro.
Trash.
Or smash. Trash.
I don't like Pepsi, but I'm going to give those a try at some point. Nestle coming out with a Coffee Mate Rice Krispie treat flavor.
Smash.
Smash.
And then a Fruit Loop cereal flavored milk.
Smash.
I can't remember if we talked about this a couple weeks ago or not, but cream savers are back. So you get the orange and you get the strawberry.
Strawberry cream savers was the grandmother's candy delight back in the day, and it was phenomenal. And then they just disappeared, and people our age were heartbroken over the fact that they took away cream savers. People
are posting that they're finding them at Big Lots, and I'm questioning whether or not that's still like this is the original batch.
No, you're getting that.
They're like Twinkies. They don't go bad. You can survive the apocalypse with them.
Right. Another Coffee Mate flavor is going to be a cookies and cocoa flavor.
Jesus, how long is this segment? Trash.
We'll have nothing next week.
And last one, M&M is coming out with white chocolate snowballs with pretzels.
Trash.
Smash.
And that's it.
All right.
There's a lot of snacks for the holidays.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get into more as we move along here over the next couple of weeks. So, all right, that's it for the intro. Let's get into Bell to Bell. All right, Bell to Bell this week, worldwide wrestling across the board. Where do you guys want to kick off at? You want to go into the Friday Night Wars from last night, the made up Friday Night Wars, although shots were fired. Shots were definitely fired by higher ups. Tony Khan was chirping like T.O. this week on social media, throwing comments out there.
Might as well start there. That was the more interesting thing for the week.
So in full disclosure, I'm the dumb mark that forgot that SmackDown was on FS1 last night. So I didn't watch any of SmackDown last night. I totally forgot it. And then I watched the buy-in from AEW, watched about half of Rampage, and then I fell asleep in the recliner. And it wasn't because they were boring me. It was because I literally have not slept all week long. So, like, it just caught up to me and just crashed.
What was the last thing you saw on Rampage?
The beatdown with Penelope and the Bunny on Ruby after their match.
You didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't watch. I wanted to watch to see what Dos Santos actually looked like and whether or not he was equivalent to like Cain Velasquez, because Cain could actually do some stuff in the ring and work a little bit and look good whenever he was in Mexico. I know he didn't do much in WWE, but whenever he had his matches in AAA, he looked like he could actually turn into something. So I was just kind of interested to see if it would translate over at all for Dos Santos.
No.
I don't think he looked horrible, but wasn't enough that I'd be like, oh yeah, I want to see him wrestle in the wrestling ring again at the same time.
Did Masvidal get involved at all? Because I feel like they're building up to like Masvidal versus Jericho.
There was a little like bump on the outside.
That's the long hair guy with the hat.
I didn't see it, so I couldn't tell you if it was him or not.
He was on the outside with
He was on the outside with Lambert.
Yeah. Is he the one that came in with the knee?
Yeah. You don't know who Jorge Masvidal is? Watch UFC at all?
No, he's the one with the braids, right?
I mean, he's had braids before, yeah.
Then that was probably him. Came in with the knee.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I think that's where they're going.
Mm-hmm.
So the main event of Rampage was the least exciting of the Rampage card.
Yes.
For those three matches.
And I really felt like after the main event of buy-in, it was really tough to kind of get excited for the rest of the card. Like I didn't think Punk and Seidel was a bad match, but it's like just coming off of Bryan and Minoru, it's like that was such a hot match. It's always hard to top the next match after that.
That had 98,000 people watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's insane for two people on just like to draw that number.
It was a good match.
Oh, it was a really good match. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah. Like it for me, it lived up to the hype.
Absolutely.
And that's tough to do. Like, because you go into some of those types of matches, it's like, oh, like, are they going to be able to pull it off? And they pulled it off.
No, they gave you just about everything in that match.
Yeah.
They gave you storytelling. They gave you strong style. They gave you chain wrestling. I thought the go home finish sequence was really great because I didn't see the finish coming. I knew there was still like 9 minutes left, around there, and then they went into the closing sequence and he hit the knee and it was over. And I was like, okay, there's like 6-7 minutes left. And they went into like the recap of some stuff before Rampage actually kicked off. But yeah, Suzuki and Bryan was absolutely amazing. So yeah, I don't know. I saw a lot of people. See, the thing is because YouTube you can watch on any device, right? Mm-hmm. So everybody that I saw on social media, they had Bryan and Suzuki up on either a phone, a tablet, or a computer, and then they had SmackDown on their TV.
Yeah,
is what I saw a lot of. So like ratings wise, like, are you going to be able to tell that there was a significant drop in numbers? I don't think so because you were able to watch both at the same time. Like I don't know what was on SmackDown for that last half hour to know.
It was the women's tag, and then the women's Becky and Sasha. Then it led into the contract signing.
All commercial free.
No, wait. I thought Becky and Sasha was Rampage, right? From 10 o'clock on. That was the first half hour.
No.
What was on from 9:30 to 10 on SmackDown?
It might have been the tag match. Usos and
Street Profits.
It might have been that.
Okay.
And they still had commercial breaks in that during that though, right? Like it was regular SmackDown programming, right? With the breaks.
Yeah.
So if I got Suzuki and Bryan on my laptop or my computer, and I have Usos and the Street Profits on my TV, I could watch Bryan and Suzuki and be fully invested in that because it's like I've seen Usos and Street Profits before. I've never seen
like a street fight.
Suzuki and Bryan.
Yeah.
But from a rating standpoint, like you're not going to get people turning off SmackDown to log on to YouTube to just watch Bryan and Suzuki. Like to me, there's not going to be like I know the big thing people were clamoring about was ratings last night, and it's like the better judge would be from 10 to 10:30 or 10 to 10:20 because Punk and Seidel ended at about 10:17, 10:18 last night.
Mm-hmm.
So that was your first commercial free. You know, you got commercial free for 18 minutes. I'm not sure how the women went on SmackDown, if it was like the full 30 minutes was commercial free or they kind of did the same.
Their full match was commercial free.
How long did they go?
Can't remember. They went a long time though.
So all right, so then you had Becky and Sasha go for, let's just say 20 minutes, the same time as Punk and Seidel.
They probably didn't go the full 20 because I did turn on SmackDown right after Punk went off the air just to see what was on, and Roman was getting into the ring for the contract signing.
Okay.
So they probably went 15 because Roman's entrance takes about 5 to 7 minutes. It's been longer than the Queen's Crown tournament in total. We'll touch on that here in a minute again. But yeah, so I mean, I guess if you want to chop it up to this Friday Night War, you can look at the breakdown the first quarter hour. I guess you can extend it to the first half hour because SmackDown did go till 10:30. And see what the difference was between the shows, but again, it's still not even a fair comparison because SmackDown was on FS1 last night.
And SmackDown always loses ratings when they move to FS1. It's never a huge, it's not like a huge drop, but because they've been averaging about 2 million rating each week. Yeah,
around 2.2, I would say there has been their average. So
I wouldn't be surprised if they still got 1.5 tuning into FS1, but we'll see.
And then they're going back in 2 weeks.
They're back on FS1 in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are they gonna? Is this gonna become the norm now, where they run instead of running 8 minutes over, they're gonna add an extra half hour to SmackDown?
Well, right now they still have Talking Smack on the guide, but you never know.
So they do have that Talking Smack doesn't air on Fox. It goes into the 10 o'clock news. So you're not gonna bump 10 o'clock news on Fox.
FS1.
Right. So what I'm saying is if WWE's counter to AEW right now is, okay, listen, Friday nights we're going to add an extra half hour of programming on to SmackDown. Well, you're going to have to flip from Fox to FS1 if you're going to do that, because you're not going to bump the 10 o'clock news off of Fox.
No,
I don't think they're doing that.
Yeah, there was another rumor this week that it was going to be a full hour, so it was going to make SmackDown 3 hours, but the third hour would be exclusive to FS1.
I think it was just because they had that extra time slotted on FS1.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Fucking break that they went over.
Yeah, because I agree. I think that not a lot of people are going to switch over, and especially if you got people that only have network TV. They can't switch over for that, so you're going to lose some of the audience. But I don't know if you'd have consistent enough to make that complete switch each week.
I think, for a one night deal, we'll see what the numbers are. I said, Becky and Sasha, it's Becky and Sasha, but at the same time, it's Becky and Sasha. I've seen them before. I've seen them go before. So would I rather watch Punk versus Seidel over Becky and Sasha? I would say yeah, just because you haven't seen Punk and Seidel in not 8 years. Something like that, 2014. I think they wrestled in WWE.
Probably.
Right before Punk left, they had a match on Raw, I believe.
Okay.
So I'd rather watch that because, it's something that's new that I haven't seen that's fresh. Would I have put Seidel against Punk? Now they had this match set before WWE came out and announced the whole added time onto SmackDown this week.
Mm-hmm.
If WWE is going and they're adding that extra half hour on or extra 20 minutes on, whatever the case may be, and you want to run Punk out there at 10 o'clock, to draw people over and to get people to switch, I don't think you put him in a match with Matt Sydal. I think you have him wrestle somebody else. If your goal is trying to steal viewers.
Yeah, I think that they just think that Punk's the attraction. It doesn't matter who he's wrestling; you're just tuning in for him. That could be it for some people, but
right. I just think like it. I don't know. I was in the camp that I saw this. I saw more people tweet this out than what I thought last night. I like just enjoy it for what it is. Like you have a great night of pro wrestling on, like, you know, Danielson, Suzuki, Becky, Sasha, Punk, like CM Punk, all in an hour span. Like that's really good wrestling. Like it doesn't matter if you're an AEW fan or WWE fan. Like it's good wrestling. Period. Like so, why do we have to just draw the battle lines constantly? Just enjoy it for what it is. Like we haven't had this type of I guess decision making on our own viewing side since the Monday Night Wars. You know what I mean? Like so I don't know. I just think the whole thing got overblown in my eyes, but like that's the narrative that's being spun. Like it's you're either AEW or you're WWE. You can't be both, which to me is just ridiculous because if you're a wrestling fan, then like you should, not that you have to like every promotion out there, but I mean like, you know, like I'm a diehard Steelers fan, but I'm still gonna watch the you know who was on Thursday night, like Tampa Bay versus whoever, like you know what I mean? Like yeah, like I'm still gonna watch the Eagles versus the Cowboys if they're playing Sunday night. Like I'm not gonna watch, like I'm not gonna say, oh, I can't watch them because I'm just a Steelers fan. Like I like football, so I'm gonna watch football. Period. You know what I mean?
And it's okay if you're just a WWE fan or just an AEW fan, but if you're a wrestling fan, you don't have to choose. Again, we've talked about before, there's so many groups out there that watch whoever you want to watch. If you don't like something, don't watch it. But
right. Yeah, no, I agree with that. But
Chris, did you watch SmackDown?
I just that little bit that I turned on whenever with the contract signing.
Okay.
I don't watch anything else.
Okay. So I did see Jay, and this is, I know you weren't on last week, and we talked about the Queen's Crown and King of the Ring tournaments and semifinals last night. You had Zelina versus Carmella, 2 minutes and 41 seconds. They went. There hasn't been a Queen's Crown tournament match that's gone over 3 minutes in length. A lot of rumor and innuendo that I've seen over the past week. With talent backstage, people backstage in WWE. This is what they were worried about when Laurinaitis came back in from a women's division standpoint. Mm-hmm. Because if your last name wasn't Bella back when Laurinaitis was there, you weren't getting over a 3 minute match on TV.
Laurinaitis shouldn't have any say on what the matches are. Mm-hmm. He's not a producer. He's had a talent.
But this was their worry because he left, and then look what happened with the women's division and the women's revolution and everything else.
Trust me, you're not going to get argument about Laurinaitis. He was the worst. The company whenever he was in charge.
My thing is, and I mean, we can keep this to strictly the women involved in the tournament if we want, but I thought listening to Bully Ray and Dave LaGreca this week on Busted Open when they were talking about the first round matchups. Doesn't matter if it's a women's tournament, doesn't matter if it's a men's tournament, tag team tournament, doesn't matter. You can't get anybody over in under 3 minutes. It's not possible. So, you're not doing anybody in this tournament any favors by having them wrestle less than 3 minutes. You're literally going in, the bell rings, it's first sequence, second sequence, go home.
Do you think that this is something that they really wanted to do? or this is one of those illusions of we listen to our audience and they keep asking for a women's tournament, so we're just going to give it to them. And
this was both, and this is for both. I'm not just saying this for the women's. The King of the Ring and the Queen's Crown tournament, to me, in my opinion, they're only on because they had this 3-week gap between the draft and the reset of the rosters, and they needed programming to fill. So let's just throw these out there. It'll cover the weeks in between the draft and when the rosters reset. It'll get people talking, and then afterwards it'll be forgotten about. We won't do anything with the winners. It doesn't mean anything. There's no stakes involved, nothing. And we can move on and go about our business.
I enjoy the last King of the Ring that I enjoyed was probably Booker T winning, and that was more him afterwards than actually the King of the Ring tournament. But since it's not been a pay-per-view and they've just done them on Raw and SmackDown, I really haven't enjoyed King of the Ring. It's just, to me, it's just a jobber tournament. It's just like, so you're not really getting the best of the best. You're just,
and that's what Bully said. Like, if you're going to have these people in here that don't normally get TV time and everything else, and it's like your lower card individuals to maybe a couple mid card guys and girls in it, then like, if you want me to care about it, add some stakes to it.
Yeah,
make it worth something. Don't just make it a title, like as in like, oh, you get a scepter and a crown and that's it. Like, have it mean something. Make it be, if you win these tournaments, then the man and the woman that won each of these tournaments, you're the 30th entrant in the Royal Rumble.
That's why I liked the 2002 tournament the best, because it was the first year with the draft. So you had Raw versus SmackDown, and then you had that, okay, whoever the winner is gets a title shot at SummerSlam. That's why I enjoyed that tournament the most. And then, of course, after that, they just got rid of it. But yeah, if you're doing this now, I agree. That would be a great stipulation. You know, just get something out of it.
I mean, at least it makes it worth wow from, you know, a storytelling perspective, or why it's so important. Just to win King of the Ring or Queen's Crown, to have that on your resume doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
It's not a jumping off point like we talked about last week, Chris, where back in the day it used to be a jumping off point. You would win King of the Ring. You didn't just become King Corbin or King Booker or anything else. Like, it led into an IC title run, and then you know, up the card to, you know, to the WWE champion. Like, now it's just you're King of the Ring.
No.
What does that even?
Was it Sheamus? Didn't he lead this? Didn't he lead something with him?
Sheamus won King of the Ring, and then Sheamus won King of the Ring, but I can't remember if it was before or after his first title win.
No, that was after. It
was after.
Then he became King of the Ring. Yeah.
But that's led to stuff with him. Like, I don't think they did anything with Corbin. Corbin was just a title.
You had Corbin. You had Wade Barrett. Other than like title. Just his gimmick, you know, didn't really lead to anything. Who else we got here? That was Barrett, then Sheamus. So yeah, since pay-per-views ended, it was Booker T, Regal. You know, they really didn't. That was just an easy win for Regal. Then Sheamus, then Barrett, then Corbin. Those have been your King of the Rings.
I think Sheamus might have been the last one they like really pushed.
And he was another one that they just really, since pay-per-views have stopped, each one of them has done the King gimmick. Like, it hasn't been like you get a win and push for anything. You run with that King gimmick. Yeah.
Right. And then you had King Nakamura drop the crown because they're doing the King of the Ring tournament. And he didn't win the last King of the Ring tournament. He just beat Corbin for it.
And why didn't they just put him in this tournament?
You would think, right?
If he had to drop the crown, kind of like the X Division option C. Just turn in the crown, you get an entrant in the tournament.
So who won last night, Zelina or Carmella?
Zelina. There goes your bracket, Steve.
Who did you have?
Said that I had Zelina last week.
Zelina?
I thought you said you thought Carmella was going to win.
I thought I said Zelina. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I thought you said Carmella was going to win the whole thing.
Oh, I did say Carmella was going to win the whole thing because I said if you're going to keep it just as a gimmick, having her being Queen Carmella with the whole I'm the most beautiful woman in the WWE, like that would fit right into just carrying over the gimmick. But if you're gonna have somebody lose and you know job out through the tournament, I guess having Zelina pick up a couple wins and then lose in the finals makes sense.
Yeah. So we still have to have Shayna and Doudrop this Monday.
Yeah.
So we'll see who advances. If they don't have Shayna win this whole thing, they completely drop the ball with this tournament. Every match has been under 3 minutes. And I said the only person that I would do that for would be Shayna, but it would be in the sense of storytelling wise because she's just running through everybody now. Because out of this group,
I love Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Right. Which is why I was disappointed where the SmackDown side, even though it's Raw women wrestling on SmackDown, we don't have to go through that again. But you could have had if you're going to have Shayna run through everybody, then it would have been better to have a babyface come out of that side of the bracket. And you could have had the babyface in the semifinals. Now, you can't do this in under 3 minutes because you don't have time to tell a story. But you could have the babyface, you know, have an injury, get injured. You know what I mean? So, like, they're already weak going into the finals against Shayna, who's just been on this run, destroying people, choking people out. And it's like, all right, is the babyface going to be able to overcome? But you look on the roster, they don't have any women to do that. Which is why you got so many heels in this tournament, because literally almost their entire roster is heels. And the only babyface you had to do it was Liv. But for whatever reason, they're just decided that they're never going to push Liv.
Doudrop.
What was that?
Doudrop.
But winning this tournament does nothing for Doudrop.
Yeah. I don't think they're not using her right.
No.
Like, she has so much more offense.
So much more.
Yeah. I don't mind the character, but she's just doing the two, 3 moves, and that's it.
Yeah, and if you followed her, if you watched her on NXT UK, you know how much better she is. Or in the Mae Young Classic when she was in that. Like,
yeah.
She has potential, and
look at the excitement and the hype that the Mae Young Classics gave to the women involved. Mm-hmm. Look at the people that were made in the Mae Young Classic. You had Toni Storm, you had Kairi Sane, you had Bianca Belair,
Rhea
had look what all that did, and that was just the first one, right?
Who was the winner? The first one.
Tony
was the winner?
Tony won the first one.
Okay, who won? Who was the second one? Is that Kairi?
Kairi. Okay. I think she won. Yeah, I think she won the second one.
Okay. I was thinking she was the first one for some reason. But
I know Tony won one.
Yeah,
whichever one it was.
Okay.
It might be flipped.
You're probably right. Yeah,
it might be flipped. Kyrie might have won the first and Tony won the second. But either way, I mean, you had women that moved on and you did something with in NXT and NXT UK and everything else. Now, like, you've done nothing over these weeks to do anything with anybody.
Kairi came to the main roster and all they did was put her in a tag with Asuka. And she didn't really get a good run. You know, she had a tag title run, but that was it. And then here's Toni up on SmackDown now for a bit, and they've been doing nothing with her so far. And she should be like that next evolution of women talent on SmackDown.
Toni came up in July. It's now middle of October, and they've done nothing with her except put her next to Boogs.
I mean, hopefully when the fresh start happens next Friday night, you know, they actually start doing stuff with her. But I'm not hopeful just what they've been doing with her so far.
And then the further, and this is I'm going to move on from the tournament a little bit, but just further. So you have a women's tag team champions, right? Nikki and Rhea. You have no other women's tag teams on your roster right now. They broke up the other tag teams.
Yeah. Is now Nadia and Tamina on different rosters now?
I think there's.
I was the only real other tag team, but
I mean, Knox and Tegan are split now.
Yeah, they're split up.
Super rosters, yeah.
So like, and I mean, it's the same way for the men too. But like, you don't have tag teams at all.
No.
And the men, you have what, 2 or 3 teams, if that, on each roster. So you don't even have tag team divisions.
You just get that typical. Let's
you have New Day, you have
together and see if it sticks.
You have New Day, you have Usos, you have Viking Raiders,
Street Profits,
Gable
and Otis, which were 2 singles.
Yeah, that's 2 singles. RK Bros, 2 singles.
Dirty Dogs. I mean, but they're tags now. You might as well.
No, yeah. I mean, Gable and Otis, would be a tag now. Dirty Dogs, I guess you would say, are a tag now, but they don't.
AJ and Omos, that's just 2 singles.
I mean, that breakup's coming soon, I do believe.
So it's like, like.
I mean, they drafted Mad Cat, whatever the hell his name is, Corbin and Moss. They drafted them together, so. Is
Madcap, is that supposed to be like the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland? They just like flipped it.
I have no idea. I'd enjoy it if you told terrible dad jokes, but he's just telling me. Yeah.
This is not. It's not like not good. I've been extremely disappointed. And then you get the announcement for Bianca versus Charlotte on Monday night for the Raw Women's title.
Why?
So if you have Bianca win on Monday, so she's your Raw Women's Champion, which means she's going to lose in the triple threat on SmackDown, which means Becky's going to drop the belt on SmackDown because Sasha's the only SmackDown competitor. So then you have Becky come over to Raw and be the heel that's chasing the babyface champion, but that never works. The babyface is supposed to chase the heel champion. And then you have Charlotte move over to SmackDown without a title. Like, it's just a cluster, dude. They booked themselves into such a corner with this draft and moving people and not having any plan set. Like, and it's like, oh, we're just supposed to reset next Friday and be okay with however things stand. And we're just supposed to take it from that point on and forget about anything that happened between the draft and now.
So say Charlotte keeps the title. Say they keep the title on Charlotte on Monday. So does that mean that Charlotte's on SmackDown and she can still appear on Raw for the time being? That would be my guess. Be one way to keep her on both shows.
If Charlotte wins on Monday and Becky wins on at Crown Jewel on Friday, do they just hand exchange the belts?
That's definitely a possibility.
I would just keep the belts on them until you can take it.
Let them be on both shows.
Yeah, I would, until you can take it. I wouldn't mind seeing like an inner.
Then why even do the draft? See, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is where it's like it makes zero sense. Yeah.
To shake things up.
But that's not shaking anything up.
It is. You're getting different matches. You're getting different stories.
It makes no sense
that doesn't need a story.
It makes
I don't need a story. The reason I'm not saying anything because I enjoy it. I watched and enjoy it. I don't care. They reset it. Fuck it. I'll watch what they do next week. I enjoy it. I don't have to sit there and do the math. I'm gonna just watch the show and enjoy it. I'm not.
You are the diehard that watches for whatever they give you.
If you're just watching to enjoy it, what is even enjoyable to watch?
The matches in the characters.
Okay.
I've let go of the storylines a long time ago, man.
But the characters aren't even entertaining.
To me, they are. I enjoy them.
It's like we were saying.
It's
like we were saying. There's enough out there that hey, if it's what you like to watch, keep watching it. But
I enjoy it. Yeah,
I get it. But for us who've watched WWE as long as we've watched WWE, the decline in the programming and the storytelling and the characters and the building up of stars, the decline over the last 10 years, 15 years has just been insane.
The reason I stopped caring is because you're going to get, I mean, it's been around so long, you're going to get storylines reran. You're going to get angles reran. It's just like, instead of me picking out like, hey, they did this, they did that, I'm going to just enjoy it for what they put on the TV show.
It's just like on a regular TV show. Once you get to that season 8, season 9, they're redoing storylines over again.
Yeah,
which is fine. Like you're gonna get repeats, and then something will come along that's organic and original. Like this Roman Reigns run, has been great storytelling from the start, and that's something that nobody expected. But you're gonna redo it, but you can redo it in an entertaining fashion. To me, they're just redoing it, and it's not entertaining.
That's my whole thing is I know they can be great. The company has been great, and they should be great because of everything that they have. They have the talent. They have, enough people that work in that company that can come up with entertaining storylines. But when you just don't give me your 100%, each week, for me, it comes off on TV that you're phoning it in. And that's why I don't watch, because I'm not going to sit there and give you 5 hours each week of my time if I can't even enjoy barely an hour of it. Like, if I just sit there and run through, like, the DVR and just watch the segments I want to watch, even most of those I don't even enjoy whenever I start to watch them. And I know they can do better because they've done better when they had less. You have so much more and so much more experience from that and so much more talent now that you should be blowing the rest of them out of the water. There shouldn't even be a conversation right now that AEW's the number 2, because you should be so good at being number 1 that nobody else wants to watch anything but your product. And they just can't do that. And it's because they're letting themselves get in their own way.
Then they, complacency is a real thing, right?
Yeah.
So when you were top dog for 20 years, and nobody is ever considered to be a legitimate threat to you. Some people may say TNA back in the day a little bit, but that's just putting a number 2 on a company that was a number 2. They were never really any true threat to WWE, right? Ring of Honor has been its niche product ever since Ring of Honor's come into existence, and they just want to continue to be a niche product. They don't want to invest in production. They don't want to invest in, having their stars do interviews. They don't want to promote. Like, it's just Ring of Honor is just Ring of Honor. If you watch it, you watch it. If you don't, they are not going to push themselves out there to make you watch it. Although their roster right now is arguably one of the best in wrestling, both men and women. And the matches and the stories that they've done since they've come back from COVID, starting with that Pure Title Championship, has been some of the best wrestling out there over this past year. But nobody knows because it's Ring of Honor and it comes on 4:00 on the CW here in Pittsburgh. So they put it on syndication for Sinclair because it's on their networks and they can say they have a wrestling program and that's it. But other than that, they don't care to do anything with Ring of Honor.
I don't think they've been pushing it at all since the pandemic. It's like at least before they
going
push
back
some.
to not to veer off the exit, extra fast, but going back to the original point, you're complacent for so long of being number 1. Now you have these other promotions and in different pockets and areas and everything else. There's more wrestling now than there's ever been, right? Wrestling is literally 7 days a week, multiple hours. You can't watch it all. There's so much. But there's so much more to the point where your complacency is gotten to a point where people don't want to watch you no more. Raw did a 1.5 this week. AEW is drawn 1.2, 1.3. there's no reason, like Chris, like you said, that a company that's 2 years old should be even with what was your flagship show for 30 years.
Yeah.
SmackDown has the boost of being on Fox every week, which is why I think SmackDown's numbers are consistently over 2 million.
That's the only reason, because they're on network TV.
So, like, I think once you're complacent for so long, you can't just flip the switch. Like, you can't just say, "Oh, we'll throw stuff out there and it's gonna work. It's gonna be entertaining because we just threw stuff out there for 20 years and people still watch." Well, you were the only game in town for 20 years. Now, because there's so much wrestling on per week, like Chris, like you said, I got 5 hours. Well, I'm gonna take 3 hours from Raw and I'm gonna donate it to watching Dynamite and Rampage. I'm gonna take an hour from SmackDown and watch, MLW, or watch Impact Wrestling, or watch New Japan Strong on Friday nights. Like, and quite frankly, these other companies, they're giving me matchups in just from wrestling standpoint, they're giving me matchups that I want to see more than what's in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wanted to see Bryan versus Suzuki. Like, I was pumped for that all day. It's a matchup that I wanted to see. I wanted to see Bryan versus Omega. It's a matchup we never thought would happen. Suzuki's wrestling. I forget who he's wrestling tonight for New Japan. Why am I blanking right now? But it's another matchup that I want to see. Impact. Impact's giving me matchups that I want to see. I want to see Josh Alexander versus Christian. I want to see Mickie James versus Deonna. I want to see what the inspiration looks like in Impact, because they're debuting and they're wrestling for the tag team titles at Bound for Glory. Formerly, the Iconics in WWE. Like, you're giving me stuff that makes me want to tune in.
Whether or not Suzuki's going to go to Impact now. That's his next stop.
Right, MLW. You gave me Hammerstone versus Fatu. You know what I mean? Like, you're giving me these matchups that I want to see. Now, whether or not I stay, that's a different story and a different conversation. Like, you got to do you got to do something to hook me, to get me to stay and continue to watch. But you got Ospreay coming into MLW. You got Jay White wrestling on New Japan Strong. Like, you have all these people that I want to see in matchups that I didn't think I would see. You're giving me great matchups in the G1 right now. You're giving me great stories in the G1 right now. So, like, why am I going to take my time to just tune into something that goes, "Oh, well, we're here every single week for these hours and we're just going to continue to be here," and just randomly not phone it in, because none of the workers phone it in. They all go out there and bust their ass for the time that they're on TV.
Yeah. My complaint is never the talent in the ring. I think their roster, the actual talent roster, is the best it's ever been, and it grows every year for the best talent that it could ever be.
But I think this is where it comes back to being a wrestling fan and not just a fan of sports entertainment, where, like, because I'm a wrestling fan, I'm going to take that time and put it on other wrestling shows. Does every wrestling show have sports entertainment? Yes, it's entertainment. Like, you're not going to get the entertainment out of wrestling. Like, it's just not going to happen. It's why it's there. It's there to entertain. But when you have all this stuff, and then you hear all the stories about people at live crowds for WWE and not being able to stand up and only being able to get out of your seats when the wrestlers are coming down the ramp, or after the match when they're walking back up the ramp, like they're doing things to, like you said, Chris, to get in their own way.
What rules are these?
So this came up on Busted Open. I forget which show it was. It might have been the show out in California last week on Raw. But they had people call in that were in attendance in the show. And we've heard this from WWE for the longest time, where, if you have certain shirts on, you're not allowed to wear them to make you turn them inside out or take them off. They take down certain signs. You know what I mean?
They've done that for years.
Yeah, they've done that for years. That's nothing new, right?
Yeah.
Well, now coming out of the pandemic and being back in arenas and everything, the people that were calling into the show, they were saying, hey, we weren't allowed to stand up and cheer during the show. We had security guards telling us that we had to stay seated and we weren't allowed to get up. The only times that they told us that we were allowed to get out of our seats to cheer was whenever the wrestlers were making their way down to the ring and after the match when they were walking back up the ramp. Other than that, we had to stay seated. And
now, is that restrictions in the stadium?
That's what I was just about to ask too.
Because that sounds real.
No, because after that person called in, they had other callers call in that went to other shows in other areas, and it was the same thing. They were told that they weren't allowed to get up and cheer during the matches. They had people yelling. They had security guards telling them that you have to stay seated. You're not allowed up. And Bully brought up, he brought up 2 points. One, he's like, well, if you go to the ballet or you go to Broadway, you're not going to stand up in the middle of the performance to cheer and chant and everything else, right? Mm. But that's ballet and Broadway, right? If you go to a Kiss concert or another concert, whatever the case may be, like you're going to be up out of your seat, you're going to be singing along, you're going to be dancing, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, so the different form of entertainment, you're going to react differently in a crowd, right? Mm. He brought up to that point, he followed it up with, I wonder if the Thunderdome gave Vince a false idea on how you can control a crowd. Because it's almost like he's making the live crowd be a Thunderdome. Where while the match is going on, nobody's getting out of their seats, nobody's chanting, nobody's standing up, nobody's holding signs up. Everybody's sitting down so that your focus can just be strictly on the guys in the ring. You're not distracted by anybody else.
That's interesting.
And I get that from a viewing standpoint to a point, but at the same time, the flip side of that coin, in my opinion, is that I'm not seeing anybody get invested and react and everything else. So to me, they're not entertained by it. It does the opposite watching it on TV for me. The crowds are dead. We said that watching Raw, Chris. When we did the watch log, I'm like, this crowd is dead. But then you flip on AEW and the crowd is up. They're hanging over the railing. They're smacking the guardrail. Everybody's chanting. I mean, we saw it when we went to Dynamite Rampage here.
Yeah. And that's kind of the point of wrestling is the crowd gets you hyped for some of the matches. Sometimes the crowd takes over the match. You have those instances, but usually the crowd getting into it kind of gets your attention for stuff. And
I'm not saying go and take over the show to where like you're throwing beach balls around and you're doing all that bullshit. But like you're at an arena, you're watching a wrestling show. To me, that's in the same vein of going to a concert.
Could you imagine going to the Steeler game?
Or like,
whenever they throw on
that would be like
Renegade, and then they tell you, and the security comes by, and while Renegade's on, they say, "No, you gotta stay seated this whole time."
Right,
like that would destroy the crowd.
Exactly.
And what are you pumped up for then? We'll see. Yeah, we'll see if that stays. Maybe it's something that they're just testing out right now. But if that's going to be going forward, that's pretty bad.
But if they're doing that going forward, then that's why it looks as bad as it does coming across the TV screen.
And I mean, and then they don't have the crowd because like this week they had
4,000 people this week on Raw.
Yeah, they sold 4,200 tickets. Only 4,000 showed up out of an 18,000 seat arena.
There was a lot of black tarp in that arena.
So you're really trying to control 4,000 people whenever they should be trying to make that environment seem more than what it is. Yeah, that crowd should be given the illusion that it's filled, not actually giving into the amount of tickets sold.
And you could have smaller crowds and that can seem larger. Like
look at ECW.
Right. That ECW crowd was what, maybe 500 max?
Yeah.
In the old ECW arena. So I just think like you said, they're getting in their own way to where it's just coming across on screen as not being an entertaining product to watch. Are the wrestlers having good matches? Yeah, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. I said AJ and Riddle was really good. Like there are matches that are really good matches. But from a viewing entertainment standpoint, like I can go on my DVR and just watch that match.
And again, Jason, you enjoy it, keep watching it. Not trying to sit there and tell you not to watch it. But for me,
I'm not
tune in again, they got to give me something more entertaining.
And I'm not going to sway you to say, oh, you got to watch AEW just because AEW is more entertaining. That's not it either. But to me, it's just like, why?
And AEW for me isn't hitting it out of the park each week either.
But for me, I can sit there and I'll watch AEW and I'll point out the same things you're saying. I'll sit there and see the crowd behind the match just sitting there. I mean, you'll hear fans. Mm-hmm. I know they pump noise in stadium, but you'll just see like dead behind the stage. You'll see them like at the beginning of the match getting amped and stuff. I'll see the same thing. So it's like,
but there's not the restrictions on the crowd for AEW. And there's been and that goes to different cities. Like you look at the shows whenever they were in New York and Chicago, like that audience was live the entire time. The crowd last night in Miami was so. They were hot and cold. So like it's gonna be like it always is. It's gonna be where you're at in the country. Like we know that from watching wrestling as long as we have, that you're gonna get some crowds that just sit on their hands no matter what is going on in the ring. And it's just gonna be a dead crowd.
The crowd in the venue kind of played off real small for me last night. I don't know if that's just the way it looked on camera, but it just kind of felt like we said, a small crowd size could be a benefit, not a negative. But yeah, I agree. Last night wasn't a great crowd for them. But it happens. I mean, we'll see what they both
see what Dynamite does tonight
in a couple weeks, so we'll see how that plays out.
See what Dynamite does tonight in Miami. We'll see if it's different tonight than it was last night.
Yeah.
So, but then I'm calling bullshit if it's different. It's like don't get hyped for one and not get the same reaction for the other.
The crowd was hyped for Bryan and Suzuki. Like they were into that match. But for everything else, it's just I don't know. Maybe they just died off because of that match. Maybe they gave everything they had for that match, and then by the time they got on live, they were spent.
They did. Last night was the first night in a while where I watched Dynamite, and I'm like, oh, this crowd isn't helping at all. Like they were super hit or miss for me last night, crowd wise, and that helps make the show better. Like. I mean, think about like those NXT crowds back in the day at Full Sail and everything else. Like they used to make those episodes that much more enjoyable because of how into it they were.
I went to one,
and there was only what 300 people there,
if that. Yeah.
So
I went to it. That was one of my favorite shows to go to that I've ever been because of that crowd. They were so into it, and you felt like you were part of something just being in there.
To me, the after not having crowds for a year and a half, you would want them to go bananas coming back. Like that, and every wrestler that I've heard do an interview since they've gone back in front of crowds, doesn't matter what promotion they've been. And I've heard a bunch of different wrestlers from different promotions giving interviews and podcasts and everything else. And the number one thing that they have said across the board is we never realized how important the crowd was until we came back.
I think everybody, if you didn't realize that first episode, whenever the crowd went away.
So why, like this time period right now is whenever crowds should be the hottest that they've been.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be stifling your crowd because you think it's distracting the viewer from sitting at home. Like to me, watching a crowd go nuts behind a match, that doesn't take me out of the match. It enhances the match for me because it's like they're feeling the same way that I'm feeling watching the match. I would be reacting the same way that they are if I was in the arena. But if you give me a really good match between two people and they're sitting on their hands and they're not doing nothing and they're barely chanting and they're barely cheering or booing, and it's like, I don't care if it's Flair Steamboat doing a 60-minute Iron Man match. It's not going to come across as being entertaining.
And most wrestlers feed off of that crowd interaction.
Who you're describing is me.
That's what, but
so me, I can sit there and watch people react to nothing and just be like, Cool. I'm interested because I sit there, like, I'll sit there and do nothing. Like, you may get a smile out of me. If it's Stiller games, they throw a touchdown, I may stand up. That's about it. I'm not budging. I'm sitting there and just watching the show.
That's fine when it's one person, but if you have 5,000 people acting that way, then that takes away from the product, because that's not the form of entertainment you're putting on.
It's almost like the New Japan audience, where they applaud certain things, but for the most part, they're there the whole time. They just sit there.
Because then I'll sit there and say, like, oh, this person's overdoing it. This person's way too hype for But I'm that person. I'm that person that's sitting there deadpanning the whole show. That's just me. I don't get hype. Like
Suzuki's wrestling Chris Dickinson tonight.
Okay, that could be good.
And then tomorrow, Suzuki and Archer versus Eddie and Mox in a Philadelphia street fight.
Was the Dickinson match, is that for the title, or is it just a regular match?
It doesn't say if it's for the title.
Okay.
When is that? The tag match? Where's that at?
Sunday, New Japan Showdown.
Oh, okay. So Suzuki on Rampage tonight or somewhere else? Or not Rampage, Dynamite?
No, Suzuki's fighting Dickinson tonight in New Japan.
Oh,
and then tomorrow is another New Japan Showdown. Tomorrow, New Japan Showdown, they're calling it. They have Freddie Yee versus Jay White, which will be a good match. Arya Daivari versus Alex Zane. Juice Robinson versus El Phantasmo. That'll be a good match. Ospreay and TJP are facing. I don't know who they're facing. I've never heard of them before. So yeah, and I don't know if it's just the show that they're running at the ECW arena or if it's going to air anywhere.
Okay.
But
it might just be on the New Japan World.
Right. So yeah, there's that. NXT 2.0. Let's touch on that real quick from this week. Did you guys watch it? Yay, nay? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
I'm off of NXT.
It was okay.
I really like Mandy and her gimmick and what she's doing down there.
That's a nice coat of paint.
Yeah. She's I mean, like, I look at her now and like she's challenging Raquel at Halloween Havoc and they're doing the spin the wheel, make the deal match. Okay. But I'm like I've bought into her being a contender for the title based off of what she's done. Absolutely.
Twitter seems to be all behind it too. Most people are saying that's the reason why they're still tuned into NXT is because of her.
Right. So she's done really good since she's gone down there.
And she's changed up wrestling, so I mean they're letting her do a little more. So
what I've watched of her, I've enjoyed. So I'm glad that she did redo her gimmick a bit.
Yeah, and I told you she was on Busted Open, and she said like she wants to be known for being able to wrestle in the ring and not just be eye candy out there. So like, yeah, I like the attitude, like how she's moving, what she's doing, and everything else. You had the swerve, no pun intended, at the end of Isaiah and Santos Escobar for the North American Championship. Carmelo Hayes came out, cashed in his contract, and beat Swerve, so he is your new North American champion. Swerve and the rest of Hit Row are off to SmackDown, and we'll see what happens with Legado now. Don't know if this will lead into him versus Hayes or what they do with them, how they reset them. But
I really want to see that, him and Hayes. I want to see him. I want to see Mello and Swerve really in a one-on-one, but they're moving up. So.
I don't like the appearance of Carmelo. No. Like, I think the addition of Trick did nothing for him.
Yeah, no. I agree with you.
Like, he was star enough by himself that he didn't need. To me, it's only brought him down since Trick got added in with him. So,
and you guys said that from episode 1 of it too.
Yeah.
So here we are, 3 or 4 weeks later, and it's still no change.
They're clamoring for him there, but is he heel or is he face? There's no clear distinction right now.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, this week again, it was. I put it to you this way, like Chris, if you were to ask me, hey, should I watch NXT this week or skip it? I would tell you to skip it. We saw the thing with Harlan, with Parker Boudreaux, now known as Harlan. Him and Joe Gacy have something going on. I didn't get it. Like, I don't understand it. The whole touching of the face and then him running off screen was just stupid.
Sent that over. I didn't understand that either.
Yeah, it was just dumb.
I'm probably going to tune into Halloween Havoc to see what they do with that, but that's probably.
I didn't mind it because you're letting the dude play a character, you know.
To me, and this is the issue that I saw this week with 2.0. You're throwing so many new characters at me at one time, and you're doing it in such a fast fashion that nothing breathes during the show. Everything, you know how whenever AEW first started, we said they don't let any segment breathe. It's just one rapid, just one after the other. You don't have time to digest anybody or let any character sink into you or anything. That's exactly how NXT 2.0 was this week. It was so much thrown at me and so much character work and from so many different people that I didn't take to any of it for anybody.
Like other than Dunn. Dunn and Parker, was there any veteran in matches?
No, not really. That's what I mean. Like, I get you gotta roll these new people out, right? But don't do it in a fashion where I can't digest anybody. Like, you had the Wendy Williams, I call it the Wendy Williams gimmick from last whatever. I don't care about that. That's terrible.
I just want to see if she can wrestle. If not, kill the segment.
But then you have her going with Tony D'Angelo and some type of thing, and people for whatever love him, and I don't get it. I don't understand the appeal. I don't like the gimmick. I think it's terrible. But whatever. But yeah, it was just
2 hours of NXT is too much. Now it's rebuilding again.
The way they did it Tuesday night, it was too much. If you have to me, 2 hours is okay now because you have to get so many new people, not over, but you have to introduce so many new people that you can use the extra time of an hour to help filter in and get new characters in front of the audience and allow them to show themselves in that. But the way that they did it Tuesday night, it didn't help anybody at all.
And that's part of the thing too. Do you think that they should be pushing this many new talent at one time, or do you think that they should just be bringing them in organically, like when they're ready?
They don't have nobody else.
Yeah, but
they don't have nobody else. They're not using nobody that's been there.
But like whenever they used to have these developmental shows, it was a max hour show. It used to be, some of them were only a half hour. It's like, and that's kind of like, that's just to use the talent when they're ready, not just bring in everybody at one time, hot-shotting everybody just and see what sticks.
Yeah, I mean, the only the Duke Hudson character I don't get. He's a poker player. What is that? What is that? Like, how am I supposed to get behind
ESPN at 1 a.m. or something?
How am I supposed to be to get behind that? Like, what? I don't understand a poker player as a character. The only person that I found to be entertaining on Tuesday night was Andre Chase in his Chase U segment.
I hate it, but I enjoy it.
Somebody, Daily DDT tweeted out Andre, and then in quotation marks, Dean Douglas Nowinski Chase is making the best out of these skits. And to me, he's the one that's been the most entertaining in the skits and the vignettes that he's done.
Kind of.
So,
I was telling Dawn they should put him and who's the guy that fought? Why is his name escaping me now? Fought Daniels, knew all his moves. the guy who studied him. He's on Raw, always in the 205 or always in the 24/7 chase.
Drew Gulak.
Gulak, yeah, put him and Gulak together
with the PowerPoint presentation and
put them two together and let them go.
He's so far like character wise and that like he's been the most entertaining to me in what he's done. So whether or not it continues to go, I don't know, but like they just I don't know.
And in
like they had Cameron Grimes and what's his face and that
Waller.
Yeah, Waller.
That's the one I feel like in the ring.
Yeah, but the backstage segment after his match was super cringy last week. He was flirting with the girl at the bar, and then she left, and Cameron Grimes came in, and they did like a Bumble bit, and were showing like how to teach Cameron Grimes how to swipe right and everything else. And I'm like, why? Like, okay, like rumor is you're going for edgier content, but that's not like it doesn't work.
I spent that whole segment trying to figure out who the girl was, so I didn't really pay much attention.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. We touched on Bound for Glory a little bit. We'll get into that next week. We'll cover that, break down that pay-per-view in style. I got a nice little question to end that. Jimmy and Jay Uso's brother got his vignette ran this week.
Who was that?
His name was announced. Sakoa. Forget whatever it was.
On Impact or on
NXT.
Okay.
MLW announced Contra versus Team Hammer War Chamber set for Philly in November 6th. Hammerstone had to relinquish the title, handed it over to I still call him Dario Cueto from Lucha Underground, but due to his ankle injury. I don't know, Chris. It's bad. It's a really bad high ankle sprain. I don't know, Chris, if you saw it during the match. I'm surprised he was able to finish it because if you go back and watch it, I saw the clip when it happened and I was like, damn, I don't know how he finished that match.
It's got to be because of the compression with the boots. That's probably all that helped him out in that match.
So, so there's that for MLW. Ms. and Mrs. got renewed for a third season.
Mm-hmm. Coming up in 2022 at some point.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there was anything else wrestling-wise that
Tony Khan announced that he's talking with Warner Media about launching some sort of streaming service. Didn't go into if it's going to be a solo thing or if he's going to be tagging on with one of their already existing ones or not, but he said you'll see that sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and if you're looking for a good article to read about Court Bauer from MLW, Forbes did a piece on him that did a profile piece. So that was a good read, interesting read there.
Did you see MLW's ratings for Fightland on Vice?
No, I did not.
I was actually a little disappointed in that because Dark Side of the Ring was pulling in over 100,000 views, and the max that they had for Fightland was only 40,000. Which I was a little disappointed. I kind of thought that was I thought they were kind of hoping for that Dark Side of the Ring audience to stay. And I get not everybody that watches that is a wrestling fan, but I don't know. I thought they might go a little bit better than that.
But you think more than half is not? That's crazy.
It wasn't even half of the audience stayed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a big hit.
Yeah. I mean, Impact draws 100,000 people a week. So it's like... And that was kind of like the low ball of the wrestling audience until now.
Right. All right. Anybody got anything else from Bell to Bell this week? Touch on cover? No. All right. Let's drink this. Let's just move into the segment.
Chug, 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 chug.
All right, so this week's Drink of the Week is brought to you by Jason's Poor Tasting Beer. We are on our third of the variety pack that Jason got from Great South Bay. This one is the Tipsy Tea. Tipsy Tea, 5% alcohol. Like we said, the lemonade was really good. The fruit punch was terrible, although Donald and Jason liked the fruit punch.
I'm looking to go 3 for 3.
Here, I don't I got the feeling this is going to be like a very bad Lipton tea. I'm going to get the metal tea taste, but
what I'm smelling originally smells like a twisted tea. So we'll see what the taste is like.
And I'm not a big fan of twisted teas, anyways.
It looks like tea. If the guy that picked us even giving that bitter beer face on it.
This is like drinking Lipton or Nestle tea out of the can. You get the metal tea taste. It's better than the fruit punch.
I don't know about that.
I just think like when you do those, you get the metal. All you're tasting is the metal from the can.
You get the metal. You get that just that alcohol burn in there too.
Yeah,
that just doesn't complement what you're drinking.
It's like a mixed drink. It's like a mixed drink that you don't stir properly. So whenever you get to the bottom of it, you're just drinking straight liquor.
And for 5%, you shouldn't be getting that strong of a burn for it. It's I think just because there's not as much in here, that's what you're getting. And
like this is the faintest of tea I'm tasting.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's very Lipton tea, very Nestle tea out of the can, like this crappy lemon flavor tea that you would chug in like 3 seconds.
That's not even drinkable.
You hate it worse than I. Your reaction is kind of what I did with the fruit punch last week. But at least this week,
fruit punch wasn't my favorite, but it at least gave me a little bit of flavor.
And I mean, at least this week now, I took 2 sips of this. The fruit punch, I barely finished 1 sip and dumped the rest out. So
I'd take this over Twisted Teas, personally.
I'm the reverse. I don't even like Twisted Tea,
but I'm not
a Twisted Tea.
But I'm not a tea guy, so
yeah, we know that your shitty Turner's take. All right, so I'm gonna
Turner's could help this out.
I'm gonna give us a 1.5.
I'm gonna give it a 2.
I'm gonna go half.
Half?
I'm giving it a half. It just, that's undrinkable.
All right, well, that's it for Great South Base tea. I don't even know what is it. Tipsy tea.
Yeah.
Listen, if you see that variety pack, don't pick it up. It's not worth your money. It's
just like lemonade.
We see Great Bay across all social medias now popping up. Do you trust them?
Great South Bay?
Yeah.
I'd like to try their actual beer.
The Rocket Pop It or the Rocket or the Firework one was
that's a seltzer. I don't want to try that.
Oh, that's a seltzer.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
I don't like seltzers.
They got the high C one.
Yeah, I would try the seltzer one because I'll drink a White Claw every now and again. But yeah, I won't be buying these at all.
If you find the lemonade just in a pack by itself, buy a lemonade.
I'm bringing this to every party.
So you'll be drinking it by yourself, or you'll be taking it home after the party's over. That's for sure. All right, that's it for this week's Drink of the Week. So good ships and wood ships and ships that sail the seas, but the best ships are friendships, and friends will always be. All right, this week in sports, we have Major League Baseball in their championship series. You have the All Cheaters League series over in the AL with the Red Sox and the Astros. The Astros have made it to 5 straight ALCSs. So it was like, did you really need to cheat to get there? So you have the Astros and the Red Sox. On the other side, you have the Dodgers.
Stopped.
I don't watch baseball enough to know or to care. So,
I don't know either.
And then you have the Dodgers, who, listen, you can't end on a called check swing third strike. It was unbelievable. Based off of what I saw replay wise, I don't think he went. I know Mookie Betts came out after the game from the Dodgers in center fielder. He said he didn't think he went whenever it happened, but the umpire said he thought he went. He got called down, so he rang him up.
Did you say from center field?
From center field.
And got better eyes than the ump.
So, yeah. I mean,
he's
I think
farsighted.
I think from a storyline perspective, baseball obviously wants the Dodgers versus the Astros, right? You get the repeat of the cheater series that builds your story. It's there. We can plug and play it. It'll be there. Whether or not it's a good, wholesome story is, it'll get people to click because of it. You'll get to rehash all that. So, and viewing wise, entertainment wise, watching the Dodgers fans against the Astros in LA for the World Series, those games will be crazy because the fans will be relentless on them. But yeah, so again, it's baseball. I can care less right now. It is what it is.
I haven't been watching the playoffs, but I'll tune in whenever the World Series begins.
Yeah, I might catch a couple innings here or there. I don't think I'll sit down and watch a full 9-inning game. I'm just not that invested in baseball anymore, which kind of hurts because
the teams that are playing.
Yeah, NHL got started this week. Opening day, the Penguins came out, beat the Tampa Bay Lightning, won that game 6-2. Did they beat Florida the other night, Thursday?
They did not.
Thursday
Florida
night?
Beat them, which honestly, I was expecting the worst. I expected Tampa to come in, beat the Penguins game 1, but then the Pens to beat Florida. So
yeah. So NHL back on ESPN. I like the coverage on Wednesday.
I really like TNT's coverage too.
A lot of people were shitting on the camera angles that ESPN were doing, trying something different. But I mean, to me, it's just like, you got so used to watching watching it from the vantage point of one camera that anything different is going to throw off how you view it.
They're bringing in that XFL cam.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. Like, I'm glad they tried something different. Whether or not it sticks, who knows? But the fact that you're thinking outside the box with it is great. Just having hockey on ESPN is good again. That TNT again, the coverage was really good. Anytime you get Charles Barkley on TV, for me, it's entertaining. And you had him and Wayne Gretzky going back and forth. Barkley trying to put on the goalie pads was hilarious.
Yeah. And their studio show reminded me exactly of what TNT does for basketball. So they just took that formula and moved it over to hockey.
And so far it looked like it'll be good.
I thought the studio looked good, nice clean set, like kind of futuristic looking too. But
so there's that. NBA tips off next week, regular season. The big news this week was Kyrie Irving and his whole stance on not getting vaccinated versus getting vaccinated and everything else. I don't know, man. It's just I understand kind of what he was saying. The reasonings though, like didn't make much sense to me. But to each his own. I'm not going to tell anybody, hey, you need to go get vaccinated. But at the same time, it is what it is. So we'll see how that goes, how that plays off. Whether or not the Lakers are able to get back to the finals with the oldest roster in the league, we'll see. But yeah, it'll be an interesting NBA season here. WNBA is in their championship series. I believe that series is tied up 1-1. Brittany Griner through 2-1.
Yeah.
Was there a game last night?
I believe so. I think the Chicago won last night.
So then they're up 2-1. I thought it was 1-1. I thought game 3 was tonight. I could have my days mixed up.
What game was it was like 50-86 or 86-50?
I know Brittany Griner threw down a dunk and Devin Booker and all them were going bananas. Yeah. But yeah, so the WNBA series is out there. USA is in the midst of trying to qualify for the World Cup. They lost their first game to Panama. They won their second game. So we'll see if they don't qualify for this World Cup again. I'm missing 2 World Cups. It's going to be heads are going to roll from that standpoint. It's kind of insane to think that you can't qualify for 2 World Cups in a row. And then football, back at it. College football today. A lot of big games here. Kentucky versus Georgia, that's 11 versus 1. TCU versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma State versus Texas, that's 12 versus 25. Arizona State, Utah, Alabama, Mississippi State, Michigan State, Indiana, NC State, Boston College. And then we have Pitt versus Virginia Tech. And because we're based in Pittsburgh, this is what I wanted to talk about this week. Pat Narduzzi came out and was bitching about the Panthers not being ranked in the top 25. Now, granted, they only have one loss, but your one loss was to Western Michigan. And if you look at the teams that you've beaten, you really haven't beaten anybody so far. You're coming up on, like, you're getting into the meat of your schedule, so to speak. You have Virginia Tech today. You're going to have Clemson coming up soon. You have Miami in back-to-back weeks. Although Miami is not Miami of old and Clemson is not the Clemson of the past couple of years either. But still, if you win out and you go to the ACC championship game with one loss, then, like, yeah, at that point in time in the season, you should be ranked somewhere in the top 25.
Yeah.
Are you worthy of being up there in the discussion to get into the BCS or into the playoff? Absolutely not. I don't think Pitt's going to win today because Pitt always does what Pitt does, and that's disappoint. Narduzzi did this same bullshit last year. They got off to a 3-0 start. He comes out talking about we're not ranked this, we're not ranked that, and then they went out and got the doors blown off them. Pickett got injured, and that was it for the rest of the year. If you don't do it this season with all the super seniors coming back, Kenny Pickett coming back, and Kenny Pickett is 8th in the Heisman voting right now. Don't ask me how, because I don't look at Kenny Pickett and go, that's a Heisman Trophy candidate. Statistically, he's numbers, but, like, he's not a Heisman Trophy candidate. But you don't go out there and bitch and moan about not being ranked. How about you add some different people to your schedule so that you can build up your strength of schedule before you start ACC play? You should be undefeated going into ACC play, but you lost to Western Michigan. Like, come on, dude. Let's slow the roll. You've been a mediocre 8-4, 7-5 coach since you've been here for 7 years. You haven't gotten them over the hump. In my eyes, you should be out the door after this year, depending on how you finish, because I don't want a program that's stuck in mediocrity. Is Pitt ever going to get back to where they're in the top 10 like they were under Walt Harris? I don't know.
Not with the current formula.
Exactly. So what makes you any more different than Dave Wanstead? Like, you're not elevating at all. So now you're what, 4-1, 5-1? Okay, you're getting into your meteor schedule. If we come into December and you're back at it 7-4, you're going to end up in the shitty, whatever, Pontiac Cheez-It Frito-Lay Bowl that you play in every year in bumfuck Alabama. And then what? You bitched and griped for nothing. So worry about coaching and going out there and beating Virginia Tech. Don't worry about being ranked. You haven't done nothing to be ranked.
All you miss is your Pitt shirt, man.
It's so frustrating. It's so infuriating. Like,
change your name to Angry Alum.
I mean, the struggles with Pitt are deeper than just hiring the coaches that they've hired. Like, to me, it's They thought they were going to get a boost with practicing next door to the Steelers and everything else. And all that's not going to draw recruits. Oh, you'll get a boost from playing in an NFL stadium. No, you won't. There's no atmosphere there.
No. If they could do it again, whenever the Heinz Field's done, they need to build a stadium closer to Oakland.
People have pitched plans to put a stadium in Oakland, and it could work. But to me, like, you gotta
put out a better product.
Got to put out a better product, man. If they don't finish this year with 9 or 10 wins, then they're never going to finish under Narduzzi with that type of record, based on the talent that they had come back. This is the best quarterback he's had since he's been here. So, like, it's put up or shut up time for you as a coach. If you finish, 8-4, 7-5 again, then to me, I don't like. That's what the program is, and let's move on, because you're not going to take it to the next tier. Not when you look at freaking schools like Coastal Carolina, who are ranked in the top 15 and have been for 2 years. Look at Luke Fickell in Cincinnati, taking them to a top 10 program in 3 to 4 years. You've been here 7 years, and you haven't finished better than 8-4.
When's his contract up?
I don't know that. But you can't have these coaches at these other programs that were, Christ, you used to lose to Cincinnati in the ACC or in the Big East. You had opportunities to beat them to actually do something whenever you were ranked, and you didn't do it. So if you don't beat Miami whenever they're not ranked in the top 25, and if you don't beat Clemson whenever they're ranked at the end of the top 25 or out of the top 25, if you don't beat Virginia Tech, who's not ranked, then what are we doing? Because to me, you're still the same old Pitt doing what Pitt does every single year. Pitt's going to Pitt, and I'm just waiting for Pitt to pit themselves. You can
find that on our Pro Wrestling Tees shot next week.
Pitt's going to Pitt.
Pitt's going to Pitt. That's it. That's all. I mean, that's it. Plain and simple. So we'll wait and see if they do that later on today. But from my estimation, yeah. So other than that, like I said, good matchups from the other games across the board here. Tomorrow, Steelers, NFL, Sunday Night Football, playing the Geno Smith Seattle Seahawks. Everybody's like, oh, this is an extra bye week. It's Geno Smith. Yada, yada, yada. The Steelers don't beat backup quarterbacks. Terrell Pryor, Bruce Gradkowski, the dude from the Bengals last year that's not even in the league anymore. They almost lost to DiNucci, who was a third-string quarterback from the Cowboys. They don't play good against backup quarterbacks. I would have rather have seen Russell Wilson come in tomorrow night. They have to win this game. They have to win this game, go into the bye week at 3-3, But this comes back to my main point from the beginning of the season whenever I was talking about the Steelers. Them finishing 8-9 or 9-8 does nothing for the future of the franchise. You don't get a high enough draft pick to take a top-tier quarterback. Like you're going to get a pick in the early 20s, late teens. So unless you're trading for Aaron Rodgers, which I'm all for, and I was on that bandwagon before anybody else in the national media was, and roll out the tape on that, then there's no point in even going 9-8, 8-9. So we'll see. But I do not have a good feeling about the Steelers tomorrow night. I just don't. It's Geno Smith. It's a backup quarterback.
They got film on Geno, so
I know that people are like, oh my God, how can you say that? It's Geno Smith. This is the dude that got knocked out by a teammate when he played for the Jets.
Geno Smith is still legit.
You didn't have a good feeling last week, and look what happened. So
I didn't last week, but it also took a goal line stand at the end of the fourth quarter for them to pull out that win. So the offense played better. The running game looked legit last week, which sucked because I was playing against Najee Harris in my fantasy league. But I still won fantasy-wise. That's all that matters. Yeah, so we'll see what happens there with the Steelers. I don't know. To me, it's one of those games where like they go in, and I'm hoping that they actually win and play good and continue a little bit of momentum, and then they can have the bye week. You can get some more continuity across that offensive line, and then come in second half, make a push. Hopefully, get guys healthy because they're extremely banged up right now. Juju's out. I don't know if Chase or James Washington are both playing tomorrow.
They picked up a new receiver, so they must be banged up in that department.
Yeah, they signed Anthony Miller, who bounced around. He was with the Bears, showed a little bit of promise, got cut there, went to, I want to say the Texans, and then they cut him. If you can't stay on the roster for the Texans, Jesus. So, yeah, that's it. We'll see what happens. That's all I have for sports. We got anything else?
Home opener tonight against Chicago, so kind of return
the
of
Flower.
Yep, Flower's returning.
Well, hopefully he lets up 3 or 4 goals like he did opening night for the Blackhawks, and we pull out a win.
We'll see.
I don't think he wants to be there. I really don't.
No, he doesn't want to be in Chicago.
So, like, maybe he just plays piss poor enough that they cut him. I don't know. But
maybe being kind of back in Pittsburgh, maybe that'll reignite something for him. But this is actually the first Penguins home game that going into it isn't a sellout. So we'll see. They did bring back Stu and Rush for the season starting tonight, so we'll see if that helps. I think they had like 600 straight sellout games for home, so this could change that.
no Crosby, no Malkin,
Yeah,
no sellout.
we'll see if Stu and Rush helps. But
Wilder beat Fury beat Wilder. Sadly, is there anything in boxing you're looking forward to coming up other than that?
No, it was. I mean, it was one of the better heavyweight fights we've seen in recent years. Some people are calling it the greatest trilogy ever, and I'm like, let's pump the brakes on that.
it
Like,
was a horrible fight.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, heavyweight boxing is so weird because it's the one division that people get the most excited for, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you go back in the day, Holyfield, Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Foreman, like, you know. But at the same time, like, watching that fight and clip, like, I don't know, like, it just looks sloppy.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That fight
To
should have
me,
been from the second or third round.
to me, I'd rather watch Hagler Hearns. I'd rather watch Sugar Shane Mosley, De La Hoya. I'd rather watch, you know, Mayweather Pacquiao if they would have fought in their prime. Like, to me, I just enjoy the more technical aspect of watching boxing between the smaller, quicker guys who can still knock each other out. You know, Miguel Cotto back in the day, Felix Trinidad, Roy Jones Jr. Like, I'd rather watch those guys than watch Lennox Lewis and Vladimir Klitschko just lean on each other and throw body blows and occasional headshots. To me, that's just, I don't. If I'm going to watch boxing, I prefer the smaller weight classes.
I think it's like the anticipation of the knockout. That might be the biggest thing about the heavyweight division.
And that could be the draw. This is like saying the home run in baseball. You know what I mean? So, like, I get it, but
racing. Yeah.
Yeah, I just, you know, I'm not jumping to tune into a heavyweight fight nowadays.
Yeah.
That fight's just the reason why I don't watch boxing. It's like, maybe I haven't watched the right division like you're talking about yet, Steve, but it's like any big fights that we watch, it's like, why'd I watch that? Other than just getting together with people. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. That's all for this week in sports. Let's go into one gotta go. All right, this week's world famous rolling out one gotta go. I know we ran polls this week.
We did.
What do we got for the poll results from last week's?
The people agreed with us last week. Chucky gotta go.
Yeah, I think that was the right call on that list.
Yeah.
So,
I was actually kind of surprised though, because whenever I launched the poll, it was the same day as the Chucky premiere, so I kind of thought maybe
You get the
maybe some
the recency bias.
but no, Chucky was legit.
all right, what do we got for this week? This is now. This was supposed to be Donald's week. So, Jay, did you take one gotta go from Donald too?
Yep,
I did. So
Okay, so this is your.
set up.
look, I was sitting there trying to think about this, and I had to eliminate Werther's and Cream Savers. Shout out for coming back, but
All
I
right,
think this
so
is like a standard. These are like the go-tos besides like the Werthers.
yeah.
you know, you have Starlight mints there. You could have put the Lifesaver mints, you know, the white ones. You could have put those in there, but well, I'm okay with having Starlight mints there.
You know, Lifesaver mints, y'all bougie down there. Grandma got taste.
These are
The ones that are individually packaged too. That's
Yeah.
what we got.
yeah. No, I mean I think this is a pretty common grandma candy dish for sure. Now the dish that these candies are sitting in can also be another one gotta go because those vary across the board as well.
There's like
The
two
used
dishes.
ashtray,
One
or
with the lid
is
and
it
one
the
without.
crystal?
Yeah, is it the bigger glass ashtray that you made in ceramics class? Is it that stupid butter cookie tin that it's either candies, cookies, or it could be sewing products. You don't know. Like
I was gonna say it was sewing product, except my nannies.
yeah. So no, this is a good list here. Man, Strawberry Delights, those are staying. I'm not getting rid of Strawberry Delights. Butterscotch, those are staying. I'm not getting rid of butterscotch. To me, those are your two staples of your grandma's candies dish. Yeah, I'm not getting rid of either one of those. Cinnamon buttons, I don't. Cinnamon candy's so weird. Like,
Yeah,
it's definitely not everybody's cup of tea. That's for sure. Starlight, you know what? I think I'm gonna have to get rid of cinnamon buttons.
cinnamon buttons.
Yeah, I'll keep the fresh breath from the Starlight mints over the cinnamon buttons. So I'll get rid of cinnamon buttons.
Jason, I'll let you go last. Yeah, butterscotch. It doesn't get any better. I still eat those.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Me too.
Strawberry Delights. Those are another classic. Those aren't going anywhere, like you said. And basically, your argument, Steve. It's like everybody has a Starlight mint, especially whenever after you leave that restaurant, especially with Italian restaurant, you have that garlicky breath. You need that Starlight mint. Never really craved a cinnamon button, so just for that, cinnamon buttons can go.
Strawberry Delights staying, first one to stay. The other three are interchangeable for me. And every time I see the bowl, like it's in my head, you can either see one of those three at the bottom of the dish left. I hate butterscotch, but I'm gonna have to kick cinnamon buttons off the list.
Unanimous across
now,
the board.
As a kid, maybe, but right now, cinnamon buttons got to go.
Donald, you listening? Let us know your take.
I think I had some bad experiments with hot fireballs, so
okay.
All cinnamon got to go.
That was a good one got to go there, especially with it being October. We got Halloween coming up with the Halloween candy. So
I had to think of something candy was.
Nice, good job there. Surprised we got the unanimous vote there for the cinnamon buttons to go out the list. To me, this one got to go list can be very different depending on whether or not who's voting on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if you got people that look like me, the vote might go one way. If you got people that look like Jay and Donald, the vote might go another way. So
I mean,
I'll be interested to see
if it goes in any grandma's dish, though. It doesn't matter.
If it goes the way that I go.
Yeah.
When I go to Chris's, I see Hershey Kisses. That's a class right there. I see
my mom's not a grandma, okay?
See the Hershey Kisses. The Hershey Kisses
on that one.
Yeah, the Hershey Kisses and the M&Ms. Those were in the candy dish. Like if it was like Easter, you had the pastel M&Ms in the candy dish. You know what I mean? Like
when the kids ain't coming around that much.
Yeah. So yeah, nah. That's a good take there. Good list there.
Could name that grandma's purse.
That's true too. You would have to put a fifth option, and it would have been a used Kleenex because that's always in the purse. Like, damn, grandma, throw the Kleenex away. How many times you're going to use the same Kleenex? Like, throw that away. If it's not in the purse, it's tucked into their watch or the cuff of their shirt.
You always went to grandma's purse and always smelled like cinnamon. What do you got in here? Trident gum.
Good list.
Hey, when I was a kid, my mom used to pass. She used to give us Tums in church. I like, you got candy? All right, here's the Tums. I'll take it. Give me
Need something.
Give me something sweet.
All right, that's it for this week's One Gotta Go. Hit us up on social media, vote, play along, comment, let us know which one of the candies in grandma's dish has to go. And with that, let's get into final thoughts.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to episode 58 of the Dumb Marks podcast. Before we send things home, just a couple things to go over. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you get notifications when we go live. Like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at DumbMarksPod. And don't forget, our audio-only edition of the show is available on demand on all your favorite podcast platforms. And of course, make sure you support the show by telling a friend about us and also purchasing our official merch at ProWrestlingTees.com/DumbMarksPod.
All right, two things for me real quick and to wrap up the show and final thoughts, because I got to get out of here. My wife's texting me. It's time to go. So one, I saw
micromanaging you this week.
One, no.
You do
one, I saw, you know how they came out with like indoor tag was a big thing a couple years ago. Like they turned it into like an actual sport and they had indoor tag league. People run around playing tag. I saw a video this week for don't let the balloon hit the ground. So if you grew up in our neighborhoods around the way, like we did, the don't let the balloon hit the ground or the floor is lava. Those games were played probably across the board growing up as a kid. But they added couches. There was cars in the arena, like and these dudes were going back and forth hitting this balloon jump. So like I was like, oh, this is electric. I can get behind this because this was like my entire first floor of my house growing up was playing this. So I saw that. Yeah, so that was one of the interesting things I saw. On ABC on Monday night, we're doing hashtag Real Queens of Hip Hop. The Women Who Changed the Game premieres Monday night on ABC, streams the next day on Hulu. So you'll get into all the women of hip hop tonight. Versus KRS-One, Big Daddy Kane. Old school hip hop heads across the board are going to love this episode of Versus. I'll probably tune in and check it out for a little while there, flip it on and see what's going on here. And that's all I had for final thoughts.
I'm good. Jason, you got anything?
Good.
All right, send it home.
All right, so with that, let's get into the archives here. And that's not what I wanted. Where are we at? And with that, to wrap it up and go home this week, spend more time with people who bring out the best in you, not the stress in you. Keep it simple, keep it sweet, enjoy it, be a good person. Say hello to somebody today. It might make somebody's day. Just a simple hello. Smile and hello, okay? Yes, all right, with that being said, I got to go because my wife's going to whoop my ass if I don't log off here. So I'll holler at you. Until next time, I'm a Mark, you're a Mark. Tell a Mark. Y'all can catch us around the way.